Sister Tania, I am handing it over to you for our introduction.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Julius Nairi CBPM UNIA-ACL Division 421 mass meeting. Today is October the 23rd. It's 5:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And before we get into our meeting, we're going to start with the pledge to the red, black, and green. So could you all please repeat after me? I commit my body, mind, and spirit.
I commit my body, mind, and spirit
to the protection, defense, and security
to the protection, defense, and security
of the red, black, and green.
of the red, black, and green.
I dedicate my life
I dedicate my life
to the redemption of Mother Africa
to the redemption of Mother Africa
and the liberation of our scattered Black children.
and the liberation of her scattered Black children.
I accept for myself and my descendants
I accept for myself and my descendants
the teachings of universal African nationalism
the teachings of universal African nationalism
and promise that our children will be instilled
and promise that our children will be instilled
with the purpose and knowledge of themselves
with the purpose
and knowledge of themselves
as African people,
as African people,
in order that the cause of our struggle
in order that the cause of our struggle
will neither falter nor fail
will neither falter nor fail
until all Black people are free and united
until all Black people are free and united
through one God,
through one God,
one aim,
one aim,
and one destiny.
and one destiny.
Race first.
Race first.
All right, thank you. Our guidelines for our call. The meetings are divided into two halves. Today, we actually have a guest speaker today, so it will be done a little different. Our speaker will have a chance to present, and then she will be given time to see if anyone want to ask questions or comments, and so everybody will get a chance to participate. And then afterwards, I think President John said he had something to present on also. And so President John will get the floor, and then everyone will get a chance to ask questions or comment over his topic. And then we'll go to our members share, which is our second half. And then all of the members will get a chance to speak on something that they want to. You have 3 to 4 minutes to do that. It could be about your business, your organization, or anything that you want to share. Please be considerate when you do have the floor. Try not to go over your time so that everyone has a chance to speak. I think President John did mention our presentations. Today was a TBA. If you look on the schedule, it was a TBA on there. Those days are reserved for speakers or people that's wanting to present something. So if you have something that you want to present, you can take one of those days. I think, I'm not for certain, it may be one more for this year on the TBA. Okay, next, there will be people on this call with different ideas and opinions than your own. It's okay to disagree, but let's not be nasty and disrespectful. Ladies, do not give out your personal phone numbers. During this call, give out your conference line or your business number, email address, something like that, social media. And do not use the N-word during this call. Be mindful of unnecessary using and overusage of curse words. There are children and elders that tune in. So I'm gonna pass this to our President John so he can do roll call.
Thank you, First Vice President, Lady Vice President, Sister Tania.
All right, thank you.
So for the roll call today, we have myself, Brother John, President, Division 421. We have, and I'm member number 306. We have member number 2, our first president of Division 421 and current treasurer, President Ross Marvin. We have UNI member 172, Dr. Shams, supporting out of New York. We have our first lady vice president, UNI Division 421 member 177, Sister Tania. We have our newest UNI official member. He's been supporting us for a long time. Member number 449, Brother Art out of Annandale, Virginia. We have Derek. I could have sworn I had yours up there. We have UNI member number 115, Brother Derek. iPhone. Who's calling from iPhone?
Chaplain Mitchell.
All right. Thank you, Chaplain Mitchell. So I'll correct your name here. We have Chaplain Mitchell, our division chaplain, on the call. Brother Nathaniel Turner calling in from California. And Shan, Sister Shan, I'm sorry, can you chime in really quick just to let us know where you calling from?
I'm Sister Ifanigi, and I'm from Marietta, Georgia.
I got you, Sister Ifeanyi.
I'm on my iPad today. Sorry about that.
Switching it up on us. Okay. That makes 9. And then we have our guest speaker for today. She is a guest here at Division 421. She's doing a lot of great work in the Stone Mountain area. And her name is Sister Maymuna. So with all of that, it makes 10 on the call. Sister Tania, did you want me to just go straight into presentation, introduction?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Sister Maymuna, I hope you are ready. Without any further ado, she is the founder of organization known as the Stone Mountain Action Coalition. Since that time, she has parted ways with that organization that she founded in an effort to create what she told me today, Stone Mountain Alliance for Black activists, I believe, but she'll clarify that. But she's recreating a similar structure to what she had before, but with an emphasis on Black people, Black leadership, and Black support. So, Sister Maymuna, I hope I did a good job of introducing you, but without any further ado, please, give your attention to our Sister Maymuna. Greetings, Sister Maymuna. Sister Maymuna, you there? You're on mute, I think. Okay, one second. Sister Maymuna, you there? Oh, she stepped away. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, the microphone, it seems like I can't quite see. I'm not sure if it's because of the presentation. Can you all see me?
We can't see your face, no.
You can't see me?
Well, can y'all see her? Because on my screen, it just shows the presentation.
Okay, so that's what
I
it
see
is.
her. I see her. I can see
I
her.
see her. I see her as well.
She pops up
Okay.
when she speaks.
You can hear me
Yes,
well?
that's correct.
I can hear you. Everyone here,
Okay,
pretty
excellent.
good.
Excellent. Yeah, it's kind of weird because my image, it seems to be like floating around and it's not like stuck like everybody else's. So it was hard to pin it down, but I've got it. I got it. So I unmuted once I was able to locate my image, my profile there. I just want to say greetings, Brother John. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this presentation. I appreciate you all's time and your energy, and I hope to share something valuable that will, be useful to the community.
Thank you. And Sister Maymuna, one other thing, just before you, if you could try to give us a good context of the history of Stone Mountain, the importance. I was speaking, we've got some members in Texas, New York, California. So not everybody here is in Georgia, in Atlanta, Stone Mountain area, not super familiar with the history.
Absolutely. So there's this fight, one of the greatest fights that is still brewing here, the Civil War. It didn't stop. The resistance on all sides is still there. And so essentially this is a continuation of the Civil War. It is not over. We have a Confederate community here that is very active and engaged, and they are co-signed by our state, the state of Georgia. Always have been, and seems to be that they always will be. And what happened is we have Atlanta, the Black Mecca, sitting right here. All these power brokers of the Black community, all this economic wealth, political wealth. I mean, honestly, you know, Atlanta, in my opinion, is a Black Mecca, a power house of Black empowerment and Black economics. It's all here. And so Black Atlanta meets the Deep South right here in Stone Mountain, and the battle is on. The urbanization, Stone Mountain used to be all white, used to be ran by the Klan. Now it's 85% Black. Stone Mountain is a larger area, but it's also a small city called Stone Mountain Village. Stone Mountain Village literally has always had a white citizens council. They are active and over there to this day. They are a shadow council, and they had decided to kind of rule that village under the Klan and Confederate leadership for longevity. And now the tides have changed. It's hot. It's a hotbed over there. It has been, but it's gotten, since George Floyd, it's gotten extremely hot over there. We've had a lot of Nazis and 3%ers and Confederates and Klan decide they want to descend on this 85% Black town. And I live between two cities. I live between the city of Stone Mountain and Lithonia. Both small cities, both are predominantly Black, and it's Black dollars, and it's really local Black government takeover at this point. So there's a lot of resistance. And the funny thing is that the majority of the people who are still hanging on, trying to stay there, trying to stay in power, they will probably likely pass away in the next 5 to 10 years. They are older white people who refused white flight. And so our state is behind the Confederacy, always has been. In 1958, the state of Georgia bought what is considered Klan territory, which is now this park. And I should just say, because you will see a visual of it. Let me see if there's the PowerPoint page. Okay, so you see the picture of it. That building in front of it is called Confederate Hall. Confederate Hall. They named this whole mountain and park in 1958. They named this park Stone Mountain Park. It used to be a rock quarry. And you see it's a huge piece of granite. It's humongous. It's really big. The part that you see in the center, that is a carving of 3 Confederate leaders. This is an honorarium, a salute to the Confederacy. It's ran by the state of Georgia. It is protected by law by the state of Georgia. Our governor, Governor Kemp, he leads the organization that maintains this park by state law called the Stone Mountain Memorial Association, also used to be known as the Stone Mountain Memorial Confederate Association. So basically, the Klan, the Confederacy, the United Daughters of the Confederacy got together, and they wanted to show Black folks, you ain't nothing and you ain't never gonna be nothing. We will build a humongous memorial to white supremacy that you will never forget, and all will behold the greatness of the white man. That's what this is that you're looking at. This sits right behind my house, not far. And we ride past it every day. And y'all, let me ask y'all, do y'all think that Black people, I would like your thoughts. Do y'all think Black people attend this park, this state-ran park? Any thoughts?
Yeah, yes, they are.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, they a lot of our people spend a lot of time exercising on that rock, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Our people visit this site often, to my knowledge.
Absolutely. Do y'all have any thoughts on why that Black folks, people of color, and even folks who should know that it's not acceptable to have a park themed after white supremacy? Do y'all have any particular thoughts on why people actually do go?
Yes, because brainwashed.
Hmm.
They're brainwashed. This is Chaplain Mitchell speaking. They are absolutely brainwashed.
Absolutely.
They lack the knowledge of the past. I think we get very passive on understanding the past and respecting it, and understanding the past is the past, but the energy never changes. It just changes forms, and we're naive to that fact. So that's probably got a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Anybody else have thoughts? Okay. You guys are both right. There's a whole variety of reasons that Black folk attend this park. I used to attend this park. I told myself, if I just go in this direction, there are 2 gates, I don't have to deal with the Confederacy. I'm not worried about the Confederacy. That was my initial stance, because I had never imagined that somebody could actually change something. Never had imagined that. To me, white supremacy was so big. It's big as that mountain. That area that you see on this stone, this huge stone, that's the size of a football field. You see that, where the carving is? That's the size of a football field. So you can imagine how massive this thing is. The white supremacy, to me, is big like that. And the idea of overturning that to challenge all the powers that be, who in the hell, I shouldn't cuss. Who in the world could actually approach something so big? Who could do that? The NAACP has been on it for years, been pushing, been trying, and been ignored. There was not a lot of leeway. There was not a lot of conversation. There was not anything. It was just, this is state law, go shut up. We're not talking to you, period. Case over. You're not empowered, we are. This is basically a white supremacist ran government. What are you gonna do? Nothing, be quiet. And so I think there's always been, mumblings and rufflings of problems and concern about it, but no one ever really said, we're gonna undo this. We're gonna take it back. You can't have it. You're not empowered to have it. You think you are. And that changed. During the George Floyd, period of upheaval. A lot of people were in a place of social consciousness, a kind of awakening. I won't say people really woke up, but I think for the first time, people opened their eyes and they started looking around and seeing things a little bit different, Black and white alike. But the issue with the park is that Black people seem to not understand that you cannot claim ignorance. You have to know what you're walking into. Confederate monuments are everywhere. These salutes to white supremacy, they're in front of our courthouses. They're in our town squares. If you live in the South, especially y'all who live in, Texas, for instance, you're guaranteed when you go to the courthouse, you're gonna see a Confederate monument. They're gonna give you some kind of indication that this is white power. We run this. It's very common in the southern, southeastern states. And it's gonna take a whole lot of organizations to get this thing together. So do you want me to do the go through the PowerPoint to explain a little bit more?
Yes, please.
Sure. So the second slide, the work, enacting the divorce. So I see this issue that we have in the state of Georgia. It absolutely is a marriage between the KKK and the Confederacy and the state of Georgia. I have a couple of reasons why I say that. They use laws to make sure that it won't change. They doubled down on those laws, which they did in 2019 under Trump, to make sure that those of us who knocked those monuments down, that destroyed and defaced those monuments, they made sure that they put on extra charges and extra laws to protect those things. So they're doubling down, they're not backing down. The work is to stop the state. They cannot marry the Confederacy and the KKK and have all these black dollars to have citizens' money and use it. You all imagine if they decided to create such a park for the Jewish community. Imagine. And imagine the swastikas and the flags and all the different things, the Auschwitz. They decided to recreate an Auschwitz. Imagine how long that would actually last. Being that there are people who are power brokers and people who are not, that wouldn't last a day. The outrage of America from many parties would not have it. But this is allowed, to reign over the Black community with Black dollars and American dollars and Georgia dollars. Taxpayers fund this. This is problematic. So what I had decided is that we needed a divorce between the state of Georgia, the Confederacy, and the Klan. The next slide, the work. What is the work? So first of all, perception is everything. You all spoke to that. Some people don't perceive it as a problem, a conflict. But when Charlottesville happened, many of us started to understand that these Confederate monuments become stomping ground. They become gathering places for white supremacists. They become places where they decide they can come and act out their antagonism, especially now that the white population is not thriving. Their negative birth rates, as well as the influx of so many Asians and Latino people. So there's an angst among white males, and they're starting to be very active in their white supremacists lashing out and things like that. So these become gathering places. But perception is everything. If Black people don't see a problem, then they don't address it. If Black people don't see the connection between history and the system of white supremacy and how these symbols are continuing oppression, then they don't have a problem. Perception is everything. Stone Mountain Park, let me give you a rundown of all the things that are wrong with it, because all you see is just a picture of on the face of it, all you see is a picture of a carving. It's not just the carving. Every street of this humongous park, which has all kinds of facilities, hotels, gathering places, people have birthday parties, pavilions, they have lakes, camping grounds. This is a very functional, huge park. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, has so many trails. You will see hundreds on hundreds of thousands of people there every day. It's almost like a natural Disney World, if I can kind of liken it to the largeness of it. It's humongous, okay? And the interesting thing about the park is that it brought together white supremacy in the strangest way. Imagine if they turned Disneyland into white supremacy. That's what they've done here. They literally picked up a plantation house and they brought it there and they call it Historic Square. It used to be called the Plantation. That's what they used to call it. Now it's called Historic Square. They're trying to clean their stuff up so it's stomachable, right? They picked up slave cabins and they placed them there. They're still sitting there. They have all the things that you would have on a plantation. They used to have a Black woman who pretended to be a slave in costume, sitting there making hoe cakes. They had a white lady who was wearing a big bell dress and costume. They had actors acting out plantation life, and white people would pay to come to this so-called plantation and enjoy and go inside and look at all the beautiful things that these people have attained on Black people's back. There's no historic reference that this is wrong, that slavery is immoral. There's no markers. There's no judgment at all. As a matter of fact, they put it up there to celebrate slavery. In addition to that, all the streets are named after Confederates. These are people who fought against the United States of America. They're treasonous. They are not heroes, but here in this space, they are considered heroes and they're honored with street names. There's all kinds of statues. The theme across this whole place, even the hotel looks like a plantation. In addition to that, we have the Confederate flags. When you go up the mountain, you will see Confederate flags, 4 of them flying high. With my own dollars, I bought 4 American flags. And I told the Stone Mountain Memorial Association, after I spent $300 US, that I need them to take those flags down and put up these 4 United States flags. I handed it to them during a live meeting, and I told them that the United States flag is a much better and more appropriate flag, particularly for those who have served under the military. It's not respectful to have Confederate flags flying high, if for no other reason than the fact that they were treasonous to the country that you say you love. To this day, they have not removed those flags. And basically the history, how did we get here and what must change, and the laws. I'll talk about the law in a second, the work in the resistance and the evolution of SMAC, and then lastly, the boycott as action. So we can go to the next slide, please, Brother John. Next slide, I'm sorry, one more. And we can skip to that one. That's more local region concern. Okay, perfect. This is a large quartz granite dome, and it's 825 feet above the rest of the area. And initially it was peopled by the Native Americans. And we'll go to the next slide. Now the Venables, this is where I would say that the history, just to give the good, decent background. I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of details. I've done a whole lot of research with my former organization. And what we found out was the Venables are essentially responsible for this property turning into what it is. It used to be a rock quarry. As you can read, it has changed hands multiple times, but this area has a lot of rock. And so this rock has been, a railroad came through and they were able to carry this rock across the states, across many places. Even the Capitol in DC has a Stone Mountain quartz that came, and it's there as part of the buildings in Washington, DC. So many buildings in Georgia also, even says the Suez Canal has structures that were made from the rock. So this rock and this granite is predominantly something that comes from this area, lots of places. And so the rock quarry was owned by the 2 Venable brothers. They leased it to the UDC and the Confederates early on, with the intention to put this carving there. The goal was to show Black people that they were second-class citizens, basically a salute to the white supremacy. It's always the same story. The United Daughters of the Confederacy are some of the most vile, hateful, and wretched women on the earth. All of these Confederate things were put there and placed there and funded by white women who tend to hide behind the KKK, but they are very powerful, and they're still active and engaged to this day. But they fund all of this, and so they also, along with the KKK, funded the building of not the building, but the carving. And so in 1956, after they desegregated the schools, this is when they decided, the state of Georgia decided to buy, 1958, they decided to buy Stone Mountain. It was initially owned by the Venable brothers, who are KKK members. And they had burned crosses there, and they had the Klan gatherings there. And up until 1980s, they were still having the gatherings there, and still marching through Stone Mountain. So with that being said, it changed hands. And this is when the marriage happened between the Klan, the Confederacy, and the state of Georgia. And it wasn't enough to just buy the part, knowing that it was going to be pretty much a Disneyland of white supremacy. That wasn't enough. They had to put it into state law. They even have a board called the Stone Mountain Memorial Association, whose job it is to protect this legally. And they're supposed to sell rebel flags and Confederate memorabilia like keychains. It's written into law. That's how specific it is. So we'll go to the next slide. It is by law. So we have here on this carving, specifically so you can see closely, It has Jefferson Davis, who was the former president of the Confederate States of America. It has Robert E. Lee, General Robert E. Lee, and General Thomas Stonewall Jackson. These three are considered heroes of the Confederacy. They are carved there. It's going to be very difficult to remove. We have come up with a solution. There are these yellow flowers in Georgia that grow wildly. And we propose that we could, if, for example, Stacey Abrams became our governor, we could definitely, it costs $25,000 every 3 years for them to clean this from those yellow flowers. Literal trees grow up there. They have to pay $25,000 to maintain this because naturally the flowers, the trees, the bushes would take over and cover over this. Cannot blast it away without really damaging the mountain. So this has been something we had considered talking to the University of Georgia Agricultural Department about. We expect that they could be able to put some growth hormones and treatments up there that could speed up the covering of this this carving. And also, one of the things you should know about it is that they stopped early with this carving. It was supposed to have a whole army of hooded Klansmen in the background. They didn't get around to that and you ran out of funds. We'll do the next slide, please. So here's the law. I'm not going to read it. Look at part C, please. And you can see how they've written it into law. They basically said this will last forever. We never want it to go away. And that's just part of the code. There's so many other codes. And I would like to share the PowerPoint with you all so that you can view brother on the next slide. There's brother Richard Rose. He's a mentor to me. He's the president of the NAACP Atlanta. And he has been, and I have to say this because I always give respect to the elders and those who have come before me. This torch that I'm carrying, I don't carry alone. I'm not alone. This is a fight with Brother Gerald Griggs, Richard Rose, Teresa Hardy, NAACP DeKalb County, as well as Atlanta, and so many other organizations who step in. This is not a one-person thing. There is no cult of personality. There's no one leader. We're all collectively meeting to fight the Confederacy and remove our tax dollars and have rightful representation of this park, which means a nature thing, not a white supremacy thing. They have to take away the slave cabins, the carving, all of these things. And I've done proposals for all of them and submitted them to the governor. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. So who is they? How much time do I have left, brother? Because I don't want to go over.
I appreciate you being cautious. Take your time. We will, we're going to expand it to make sure we go over this in depth. So just as much time as you need, you're fine. We can go to 6:30 at least. So
okay, let me see what time.
5:45 almost.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I'm almost to a stopping point in about probably 10 minutes. Okay. So who is the they? This is the funny part because we always keep talking about they. Black folks love talking about they. Who is they? They, who is the enemy, the adversary, the wrongdoers, is the Stone Mountain Memorial Association. This is a group of about, I think it's about 8 or 10 of them. They keep adding people. They're really trying to add people because they need more brains than what they had after they got engaged with my organization. The SMMA is the appointed organization that's supposed to protect Stone Mountain Park. They also have a corporate structure that's supposed to help them actually manage and finance and make money and make corporate decisions. The two of them meet together once a month. They are so intimidated by the work that has been done by my organization. I claim it to some extent because I am the founder, but I don't want to use the term smack because it is necessary that it's reborn and rebirthed in a different name, but it has a reputation. They are so afraid and intimidated and outwitted that they refuse to have any meetings. If you go on their website, Stone Mountain Memorial Association, they by law are required to have a monthly board meeting. They refused to have any more board meetings, because when I first came to the Stone Mountain Memorial Association, I came as one. I met with them for 4 years, and I would consider it whispering. I whispered and suggested. I tried to give them conscious and get them awake, give them some things to think about, propose and talk. And I had some inroads, definitely. I definitely had some inroads, and it took a lot of my suggestions, but I ended up making a very good ally. The ally is a part of the Stone Mountain Memorial Association, and at the highest level. And he looks to be a good old boy, but he's not. He actually lended me his white male privilege, and he allowed me to speak through him and get things done. He actually works for the park. So it's very interesting that he did this. That was how I navigated them initially. After George Floyd, this is 4 years. And after I navigated that way, when the George Floyd situation happened, I decided to go public and speak to the NAACP and ask them, can we focus on Stone Mountain? And I was basically told that the NAACP has many, many parts, and they can't fully focus on that, but I should start my own organization in conjunction with the NAACP, and then we could work together. And that's exactly what I did. So I did a call for help, for support, for coalition building among the people to create a movement. And Stone Mountain Action Coalition, if you go on the website, you will see we did a lot of research, a lot of legal fighting, a lot of battling, made a lot of progress. And to my opinion, I feel like it brought Governor Kemp and the SMMA down to their knees. But we came, and initially the group really, a lot of the members wanted to fight. They wanted to march and protest. And I said, no, we need to be at the table. The table is a very important place. And I think that a lot of us just walk past the table because we don't think we belong at the table. And I think that one of the things that we do need to do is we need to not only expect to be at the table, we need to walk and sit at the table, take a place at the table, and with the intention to take over the table by inviting others who look like us, and then we build our own table. This is kind of, in my opinion, the way that things need to happen. And we've done a lot of that work. We've actually literally shifted the dynamics and the politics of Stone Mountain. And this is one of the things that white supremacists fear, that the Black masses will come together and see each other as we are and recognize our common struggle and put them out of power. And that's exactly what's happening. Okay, so we have the Governor Kemp of Georgia. He is completely involved. He cares, he talks to them constantly. I have done open records requests and found the letters that he's written between him and the Sons of the Confederate Veterans and other concerned white citizens. This is real. It's not make-believe. The Confederates and the state of Georgia, our governor and that SMMA, they work together. They have a lawyer, Martin O'Toole. He is the most civilized white Southern gentleman you ever want to see. He's the most evil white man in Georgia. He is their Confederate lawyer. He fights for them vehemently, and he doesn't stop. His whole life is dedicated to maintaining the Confederacy. The KKK, Stone Mountain Village Klan, and the Confederates and white supremacists, they literally walk through when they get mad. We got them out of the park for many years. And the only reason why Governor Kemp let them come back to the park this year was because he's in a campaign year and he doesn't want to face legal battles. But I talked the park into stopping the Confederates from having concerts there, having gatherings, driving through with their rebel flags and all of that stuff as celebration space. I stopped that. I was able to stop that myself and the other member of the actual SMMA. And what we were able to do is infiltrate their organization. And that's when they had to get new members. I talked them into getting Black members. That was one of the things I said. So you guys look like the Klan, all white. Why don't you have any Black members? They went and got 2 Black members. And we were able to infiltrate those Black members as well as some of the other ones. And so Governor Kemp had to reappoint him some new people because I had paired up our members with people who I felt could infiltrate and convince and change minds. I call it diplomacy, guerrilla diplomacy. So we'll go on the next slide, please. The laws. These laws must change. So one of the things that we did fighting legally, we asked our local representative to write legislation. And I was so happy to find that we had many legislators that were ready to step up to the plate. You see in the picture, President of Atlanta NAACP, Richard Rose, and you'll see in the front, Billy Mitchell, and behind him is Shelley Hutchinson. Several members of my organization are also in that picture, but you'll see the other representatives. There were at least 30 representatives that were present that day, that from the Georgia House of Legislature, mostly the House legislature, that signed on to this bill, that support this bill. House Bill 88 undoes Stone Mountain Park. House Bill 237, basically, and 238, they undo this requirement that Confederate monuments must stand, and that any local jurisdiction that deems a Confederate monument needs to come down can do so under the laws of the state of Georgia. These things are still on the books, and we're still fighting for them. So we're fighting with legislation. And now on the next slide, you will see how we fought economically. It's a multi-pronged approach. I knew coming into this is a long fight for me. That's why I fought for 4 years, pretty much by myself in silence. But when the time came, I had plenty of time. And this is one of the things that I knew was necessary, because the NAACP had already started this work. They started telling Delta, and they started telling Georgia Power and so many other corporations that it was inappropriate to have retreats, meetings, picnic, corporate events at Stone Mountain Park. A lot of these corporations listened. I took from my predecessors this information, and what we decided to do is directly attack the corporate partners at Stone Mountain Park. Their corporate partners are more than what's here. They've lost all of them as a result of this war and attack on Stone Mountain Park, launched by SMAC. Marriott Hotels and Resorts. We went through that hotel and we took pictures of the Robert E. Lee Ballroom. We took pictures of all these Confederate photos, portraits, all the themes that were throughout Marriott. And we sent it to New York, their headquarters. And we said, is this the Marriott brand? We just want to know before we tell the rest of the world that you basically co-sign Confederacy and white supremacy and racism. And we're definitely going to tear your brand down. You have choices. You need to make good choices. I have a lot of the emails that have been sent. I don't cuss. I don't scream. I'm not that. I'm very diplomatic, but when I launch threats, they're real. And I tell people exactly what I'm going to do to them, which makes them have to have a choice. And I lay it out. And when they see step one happen, they say, okay, she's not playing. That's exactly how my diplomacy works. After we sit at the table and we try to make a deal, and you don't want to listen and you don't want to conform, then we go to step two. And that's when I lay out the plan on how I intend to win the war. And so Marriott understood. As of this past May, they let us know publicly that they had closed their doors and that they were no longer there, and they took their 220 employees and placed them elsewhere. They're gone. Coca-Cola used to be a partner. Their Coca-Cola brand was on everything on their website. They were always financing and doing all kinds of things, making it known that they were partners of Stone Mountain Park. No longer. They still sell Coca-Cola, but that relationship is no longer there because Coca-Cola had decided that they wanted to be woke and they wanted to talk about diversity and community building. And we took all of that and we quoted them and we threw it in their face. We had requested many, many meetings with their diversity. It's another word, diversity and something, I think it's race, not race relations. They have some other particular thing they call it, but they have a lot of these different little committees. And I just kept launching emails, requesting meetings, demanding meetings. And by the time they never responded, They didn't respond with words, they responded with actions. We saw that Coca-Cola logo go away. Everywhere it was, it went away. Hershin Family Entertainment, almost 2 decades, they were the corporate management. These are the people who run Dollywood and so many other Southern theme, parks and stuff like that. They came and they said, Smack is right. This doesn't look good for our brand. We're out. We don't want any more parts of it. We're gone. And this happened all at one time. Bam, bam, bam. REI, which is a camping equipment company, they left. They lost all their partners in a matter of a month or two. And they said it's because you are Confederate. You do look racist. It looks like white supremacy. This doesn't fit our brand. And we can't make no money off of racism. We're gone. So they had no help getting anybody to stay. There was nothing. I mean, they were completely done. This is when I got a call from Governor Kemp. All the partners left and they had to admit that we literally made them lose $23 million. This is what got their attention, this corporate war. And I'm taking it to that next level now. The boycott has always been there for Black folk who got good sense. But I've gone to a couple of community events and people let me know that they didn't even know, especially these Black folks that I found recently who were going up to Stone Mountain to do some kind of metaphysical work. It's a whole group of them, hundreds of them. And they don't seem to be aware that they can't spend money there. So my goal, essentially, and we'll go to the next slide, please. And I'm almost done. My goal essentially is to boycott. We must boycott, and I'm going to sing it to the top of the roofs. We have to boycott this thing. We can't give them $1. I want to strangle it. I want to kill it. I'm going to stab it to death. And I've told them, this is my life work. I'm not going anywhere. When I called the governor, when the governor called us, we had a lobbyist and the lobbyist was contacted. And, our legal team, we went down there to the Capitol and we met with the governor's staff. I guess you would say his political advisors, his immediate political advisors, they requested this meeting. We had put together a proposal long before this. That's why I said, when I come to the table, I come with a plan with solutions. And I asked nicely. And if those things are not abided by, then the war begins. And so once the governor saw that the SMMA and the Sons of the Confederacy, all of them was so upset, so upset. They realized that they were going to have to conform. I brought the media and I brought the press and I brought so many organizations together, myself and the NAACP, all of us did this. And this room went from me and just them when it came to the monthly meetings to more than 150, 200 people, a media circus. I call the media very quickly when people don't act nice. And that's because I'm a former journalist. So I kind of know how to write press releases. I often have press releases ready, waiting, already written. And if it doesn't go my way, I push the send button. So I say that to say that we brought them down to their knees. They had to acknowledge that it did look racist, that it was unsafe, because in 2020, there literally was a so-called race war in Stone Mountain. They had to call the governor for the National Guard was called, the local highway patrol, the DeKalb County Police Department. It was like 7, the FBI, GBI, everybody had to come because the Confederates, as a result of NFAC, this guy, I don't want to get into that, but he basically had taunted the white supremacists and said to come to Stone Mountain, and they decided to answer. And when they came with a lot of guns. They came from far and wide, and they came with their Confederate flags, and they shut down this Black town. I thought it was going to be Rosewood. There were helicopters, media. It was a circus. The Antifa showed up. Everybody showed up. It was really, really ugly. They were burning flags and fighting people. And it just turned into a really ugly thing. They had to shut down the park. And that's one of the things I had got the park to do. When the Confederates want to come, shut down the park. They started doing that. And they had been doing that for years now. And we had a deal. until this year because Governor Kemp is running against Stacey Abrams. He don't want to upset his conservative and white people. So he allowed the Confederates to come after these many years of making progress. He went back on his word. But we negotiated many things at the Capitol. We gave them a proposal that was written to change the park. How do you change the park from a Confederate theme to a park that's diverse, that all people can be at, make it a nature theme? So with that being said, all these things that need to be undone, removing the Confederate flags, they agreed to do that. They found a spot far behind the mountains. They say they don't want to violate the law. They're going to take them down. They say that was about 8 months ago, maybe I'm not sure, but they're supposed to remove them and put them somewhere else. I still have put in a request to the governor directly in a proposal that you replace them with American flag and put those Confederate flags in a case that can be seen by those who want to see it. So basically the goal is to hide them. That's what the governor wants to do, is hide them for the Confederates who want to come see them. And other people don't need to view them. Hasn't happened yet. But there's also, they're going to redo Confederate Hall that you saw in that picture. And we talked about the historical context, telling the real story. Nothing literally happened from the Confederacy or Civil War at Stone Mountain. They created all this. And so what we want them to do is to, if they're going to keep all this stuff until it completely becomes nature only, they must put it in context. You can't tell lies. And so they've agreed to build the museum. They've agreed to do a lot of things. I sent a proposal. I wanted to change all of the streets to stuff like Georgia Avenue, Atlanta Avenue, instead of Robert E. Lee Boulevard and stuff like that. The governor flat out rejected my proposal. So I've done many proposals and he has flat out rejected them, but there are so many things that have changed. You will see in their marketing, they no longer focus on the carving. They changed their logo. They've done a lot of things I can't go into right now, but they've done a whole lot of things that are in line with the proposal. So the boycott is on until we see every last one of them. And so every February, annually, I've been going to do sit-ins. I don't care if I'm by myself, if there's 1,000 people. February, I'm sitting there cold, doing a write-in, sit-in, read-in. And I want this to grow because it's not going to be overnight, but we need people to gather and we need people to stand up and we need to stop going to that park and stop supporting it. Don't give it no money. Don't do anything. And so these are a list of things that people can do so we can help reclaim our park. And I guess that is my conclusion, unless anybody else has any questions. And I should just say lastly, on the last slide, I think, number 14, Stone Mountain, so Stone Mountain Action Black Alliance, that is the organization I had to recreate because white people in the organization I had before had well-funded this. They also had funded a lot of the intellectual property spaces. So I just want to let you know that please don't think you're communicating to me if you email anything that's on the website or the Facebook. Like so many Black people, I made that mistake. As woke and white liberal as folk might think they are and well-meaning, things don't change that much. When the governor called and the white males in the organization saw the power that this group, this coalition was building, they wanted to be the leaders. They wanted to be at the front. I had already anticipated that such would happen. So I had established Black males, mostly all Black people, as an executive board, including Richard Rose, Teresa Hardy of NAACP, and Billy Mitchell, who wrote Representative Billy Mitchell, who wrote the legislation, and so many other people as advisors, even a city councilman of Stone Mountain. So many Black leaders who are representing Black people, and they had resistance to that. And a lot of microaggressions. Eventually, my confrontation with them was so explosive. I basically told them, if I can't sit at the table and lead, and I have to be undermined by white males and their privilege and co-signing each other, I will completely destroy this organization. And I have proceeded to do so. All that's left of it now is a shell of its former self, a website that they funded, and a social media page they contributed to. That's all that's left of it. And I dare anybody in the press to ask them for another response, because I have some very flaming emails I send to reporters who think they need to ask white men their opinion on Black issues. So this is my current organization. And one of the things that we have been able to do is I found out that I'm almost done. I found out that the mayor was a white woman of Stone Mountain Village, and she's a Confederate. And she was always at those meetings, and everybody comes to a meeting for a reason. And I always want to know who's in the room and why are they there? What is their agenda? That's the first thing I always want to know when I'm in a meeting. And I kept seeing her come, and I realized that she supports the mountain. I realized that she was a daughter of the Confederacy. And it didn't take me long to put a target on her back. And she'd been there for 20 years over this 85% Black population. And I said then and there, she must go. And she was endorsing Kemp while he was signing this anti-voting rights legislation at the state. And that's when I knew it was over for her. And so I proceeded to use Juneteenth and some things that were happening in the city to drag her. And I did a public campaign calling her Mayor Jim Crow 2.0, saying Stone Mountain, Black Stone Mountain can't vote for her. And it didn't take her long, she resigned. And when she resigned and decided she wasn't going to run again, we had to find a Black mayor for the city that would be appropriate and suitable. And so we found several candidates, but myself and others put our energy behind Mayor Dr. Beverly Jones, the current mayor. She's been there for a year now. And I ran as I was her campaign advisor and campaign manager. And we ran her with her own city council. So at this time, we have 5 out of 6 Black city council members. And we have a Black mayor, Black female mayor, first time ever established. And the white folk, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, they were in uproar because there is a shadow council. And so they've been very confrontational. They've already tried to lynch her, I don't know how many times publicly. And so I've had to contend with a lot of mammies. It's not Black men, it's Black women. They want to stand up for white supremacy. And so I spent a lot of my energy battling mammies over there and defending the mayor of Stone Mountain. But we literally have taken the mountain and the local politics of Stone Mountain, the city, taking it from white power to Black power. And we're going to take it all the way to the state. And I just want to say to you all, thank you for listening and hearing me. And I hope you all would join in the fight. And I welcome any comments or questions.
Thank you, Sister Maymuna. Yeah, I guess the first question I would have is, and I know you kind of touched on a lot of it on the previous slide as far as what we can do to reclaim the park, but is there any way or what would be the recommended way to reach out to you to try to support you directly or support the next event?
Absolutely. Right now, I am in the process of waiting on a pretty large organization to fund a billboard that will be placed on the highway, probably either 285 or Highway 78. And it's going to basically point at the park, and it's going to say, this is hate space, do not fund it. So I hope to get more like community conversation going. Okay. But in terms of us building coalition, I would love to, I have an email and I'll share that with you. Let me see. Yeah. The email. I'll share that email with you, but that's how I can be contacted. I have a Facebook page, the Stone Mountain Action Black Alliance is a Facebook page. I don't have a lot on there. And as I was telling you earlier, I'm operating the organization a little bit differently based on what I've experienced before. I want to say I was very structured, but I had put structure and I saw that structure come to bite me in my own organization at the end. So we're kind of like stick and move right now. Hold on one second. I'm trying to figure out how to let this call go. Okay, there it is. Somebody was trying to call. So what I'm doing is kind of calls to action and asking people, I guess you would say through social media, to participate. We all show up when we see something is relevant, we all participate. For example, Black History Month, every Saturday of Black History Month, I will be there, and I want as many coalitions, many organizations to show up, and it does have an impression. It does, it's a form of agitation. So these type of things, but I'm very open to calls to action. Yeah, I would welcome anybody's ideas and thoughts, and we can build together and think about different ways, new ways to fight and agitate, to take this mountain back.
Okay, I understand. Now, I guess the better question, where would we, or what's your social media that we would go to, to check for updates and look for that call to action?
Absolutely. Facebook page, Stone Mountain Action,
Okay.
Black Alliance.
I will put that on the screen in a moment. Black Alliance. Okay.
And the email I've created for that one is SMAB and then the word alliance written out
Okay.
at gmail.com.
All right.
SMAB alliance at gmail.com.
Okay.
And so yesterday I did my first presentation to the community because I found out from many people that, grassroots, that people thing.
Mhm.
That's how movements are built. And so I'm doing more of that. I want to get in with the people. So I say to you guys, if you think there's any place that I should speak, I can do short versions, children's versions. I'm a former teacher. So, lectures and things like that, I'm good at it. Communication, I think. So I'd be willing to go anywhere where the community is willing to listen and participate, particularly Kwanzaa. I want to do some stuff during Kwanzaa. So I'm just open. I'm just open for suggestions, ideas. And this is a loosely organized organization because it's coalition building. People can remain who they are, and we're just fighting for the same thing.
I like that. Yeah, of course, I love everything that you're saying. Touched on politics, funding, organizing, city council, the mayor, the laws, the history. So you gave a lot of great information. But for me, the biggest thing is next steps. So that's why I was pulling for the contact and the social media. So we will promote those and definitely be on the lookout for any calls to action. With that, that's all I have. And would anybody else have any questions, comments for our sister Maymuna?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Go ahead, Brother Derek.
All right, sister, I would like to just tell you, we appreciate you. I appreciate you, but we appreciate you as a whole group, as the wise Africans on this planet, the righteous ones, for sisters yourself, using your strengths and your powers, your wisdom, your skills and talents to ward off this type of evil. And because we don't have that a lot, it's only a few of us, a handful of us that are trying to do that part, but overall you're warding off evil, which is very, very wise. And that will allow us to have in this country and on this planet, justice, right, truth, justice, and righteousness. So I just want to give you that thanks and that appreciation, and it means a lot. Even if you're not being told that as much as you want to hear, we definitely appreciate you, and the universe appreciates you, the ancestors, the Most High. So we appreciate you.
Yes.
Keep doing your good work, and that was a great presentation. And may the Most High and the ancestors and archangels be with you and guide and protect you from these evil forces out here, because the evil does not disappear, it just transform. And that's our duty as righteous human beings, is to ward off evil and keep it at bay. That's the battle of positive and negative, good and evil. So keep up the great work, and everybody else as well.
Thank you, Brother Derek.
I appreciate that, brother. I accept that. I accept that. And I'm standing on the back of my ancestors. I tell you, I am. It's a calling. And I have so many times I have said, I thank you, because I don't give myself credit for it because it almost seems like something my ancestors placed on me. And it's not a choice, you know?
Yeah.
And I have cried over this mountain. I've had some, I'm talking, when I say cry, I'm talking about that anger. Because I have faced some adversity that I don't think I was always prepared for. You know how the things go. You think you're making progress and then you go backwards. And then, stuff like that happens over and over. It's a long haul. And so I really appreciate comments like that. It means the world to somebody who is fighting a very ugly fight, but I'm not alone. I appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Sister Maymuna. Thank you, Brother Derek. Anybody else? Questions, comments for Sister Maymuna and the Stone Mountain Action Black Alliance?
Raise first.
Raise first, Dr. Shams.
Yes. The presentation, I loved it. It seemed like it fits with critical race theory, which they are trying to abolish. And we're up against, they saying in the news that we're up against a Republican empowered Congress, Republican, and their mission is to try to set all of the civil rights laws back, to put us back into slavery if they could, and to continue their mayhem, But we need to continue to fight. Our history is important because in our history we find the methods, the ways of how to fight, how to fight in a civilized manner as well. The mistakes we did and the things we did right to overcome. And we're still in the struggle, so we cannot give up anything that works from our past history. And they want to bury all the inventors that came, with that race theory. They want to, they want to stigmatize them and ignore them, downplay them or whatever, ignore them, But our history is our power. Yeah. Our history is our power.
Yes, sir.
Raise first.
Raise first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. Yes, we must appreciate history and teach history the way it's beneficial to us. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
I just want to thank the sister for a beautiful presentation, and we needed that. It was a lot of education for me, and I do think that a lot of people don't know all of this.
Thank you, Sister Ifaniyi. Brother Art.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. That was refreshing and great knowledge. Thank you again, sister.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, sister, too. And some of the things I hope to do is, what we can do is brainstorm some things. I think different organizations don't come up with different ideas. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to do all tactics, and some of the stuff is showing up at the Capitol, I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm definitely a watched person. I have upset the governor so many times. I'm a watched person. So some people don't want to do that. So everybody moves different. You know what I mean? So some of it will be going to the Capitol, demanding meetings. Some of it is, letter writing. It just depends. Every organization has its comfort level. So I'm adjusting to whoever is ready to do anything that's nonviolent. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sister Maymuna. And to let me touch on what Brother Art said and bring it back to what Sister Maymuna just said. Brother Art, you said something. You mentioned a lot of knowledge. We as those in the UNIA that consider ourselves Garveyites, we should understand one of the things Garvey teaches is the value of knowledge is to use it. So if we're sitting back and acquiring this knowledge, but we're not applying what we're learning, then we're not being true Garveyites, in my opinion. And then to what Sister Maymuna was saying in regards to our location here in Atlanta, for most of us on the call, I know some of us are out of state and things like that, but for those that are here in the jurisdiction of Atlanta or close, we must understand that this city houses the state capitol. So when it comes to things going on a state level, we as people that live in Atlanta should be the first ones, knocking on the door, trying to get into these meetings. We have the advantage of location. It's easier for us, to get down to the state capitol than it is for somebody in Athens or somebody in Savannah or even Stone Mountain. So we've got to work with our brothers and sisters, be in communication with our brothers and sisters, and do the best that we can where we are to support all of our brothers and sisters, throughout this state. So that's just to the brothers and sisters specifically in Atlanta. We should be involved in the politics of our city and our state. Anybody else want to comment on what Sister Maymuna brought to us?
Yes, question.
President Ross Marvin, go ahead.
Thank you, Sister, for the presentation. I had a question. Is the ultimate goal the removal of the carved image on the stone, or is it the changing of the name of the park, or what is the ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal is to remove all the things that the white man placed there as symbols of white supremacy, to remove or discard or cover up or do whatever we can do. Most of it, everything other than the carving, can easily be removed. They could have done it yesterday. They can take a street sign down. There's a proposal. I think what you're getting at is what all needs to be done. There's a whole long proposal. I will make sure that I forward it to John and he can get it to you all. It's quite long, but it goes through every single detail. How do we undo and erase the white supremacy at Stone Mountain? We left no stone unturned. Every single detail, I mean, very particular, petty details is in there. It includes all of those things. Covering the carving. Stacey Abrams had talked about blasting it off the side. A lot of geologists and people said that's not going to be possible because it's the size of a football field. It would destabilize the mountain. It would be dangerous, all kinds of things. So letting the natural stuff, that's one of the things when we did research, we found out. We didn't know initially that they spent $25,000 taking a team up there to keep it so that you could actually see it. In 5 years, that thing would cover over. You would not even see the carving. It would just be trees, like literally 20-foot trees up there. It'd be covered with bushes. They have to make sure that it's visible. So all of this can be undone. Those flags can come down, that plantation house and slave cabins, all that stuff. They can redo buildings. All of this stuff can easily be remedied if one has the will. But it's almost like, I'll be honest with you, the white men don't respect Black people until they hit their pockets, and it's still not respect.
That was a good job of removing their support from the multinational corporations. I applaud that.
I'm sorry, what'd you say again?
That was a good job of removing the multinational support from the park, and I applaud.
Yes.
That was a great move.
Absolutely. And one of the things, that's why I don't regret, and it's embarrassing to me, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's a little embarrassing to me for me to admit that I had to work with people who were not Black initially. I did a call, and what majority showed up is who I ended up working with. That wasn't my intention. But one of the things that I did realize is that it does take white people to call out white people, for them to sometimes wake up, especially the most racist ones. Sometimes when they can be called out by other white people, then you have some kind of a new energy. I'm not gonna say it's gonna win nothing, but it's a new energy. And so in this situation, we had white corporate America calling them out. We had regular white people, respected white people, white legislators calling them out, in addition to the Black community calling them out.
How does the election process for the Stone Mountain City Council look? Is that still majority white, or is Black people getting seats in the Stone Mountain Council?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, so when we got done, getting that Confederate mayor out of there, we knew that it was time to replace white supremacy with Black power. And that would have to be it's a shadow council. It's so weird because it's only about 100 of them that live there that are white supremacists in terms of this shadow council that want to hang on to that old South. It's only about 100 left. It's 85% Black, a lot of Latino, Asian, and this little white group really is feeling entitled, and they just as racist as they want to be. And they operate like a modern day Klan, a white citizens council. And so one of the things we knew we were up against is we had to rise up a Black person. And I'm not trying to be judgmental here, but one of the problems that we had with one of the first candidates is he had a criminal background. And I don't judge the brother at all. We all do things, but we knew that he would not be able to stand up against the forces and the pressure, because white folks will use stuff like that against you and drag you and dog you out. So we had to go with the best possible winning Black candidate we could, and we found her. And what I decided to do as an advisor is to ask her to sacrifice a little of herself and run with a crew. And so we ran a crew, and she won overwhelmingly. When I say she beat the brakes off these two white women who thought they were just going to step in, be the new white, citizens council leader and mayor, beat the brakes off of them. And I continue to fight with her. We just were able the other day to bring Stacey Abrams to Stone Mountain. That was the first time we ever had such a big showing politically in this small village. We literally, myself and the mayor, we fought really hard to get her there because we know there's a lot of work for her to do. And so the city council, to answer your question, is 5 out of 6 members are Black. We've had to clean house. I don't even live in the city, but I have been helping them clean house. On the day of the election of the mayor, the good old boy, there's always one good old boy cop. He decided he want to leap into action because he ain't never seen that many Black folks voting in Stone Mountain. They don't vote. Or if they do vote, they just vote how the white folks tell them. There's this guy named George Coletti. He's the head Klans member, still there, operating in the shadow council. I walked past him, he walked past me, we don't say nothing to each other. Everything understood don't have to be said. Mm-hmm. But I had to clean house, the mayor had to clean house, Stone Mountain had to clean house, because this white Confederate Klan officer, him and 3 others, decided they were gonna go and stir up stuff at the one voting precinct to mess up. And they started harassing the mayor and the city council members that day on the streets in broad daylight. We documented every bit of it. They were flying up and down the street, posting up near the voting precinct, putting on their sirens, pulling people over. Oh, it was a mess. And so what I did is I called NAACP and I marched right on down there to that let me fix my mouth. that Black man who called himself the sheriff. And by the time, I got done with him and my letter writing and my request for information, he basically resigned. There was an investigation launched for Brookhaven Police Department to come in and investigate the police department. He left his job. The city manager, who was also a mammy, I sent her an email, let her know that the time was up. And I put in some documents to the Department of Justice. And so a lot of people resigned suddenly when they realized that not only is there a new mayor in town, there's a new Black energy where Black people are voting and Black people are bringing government, and they're bringing Black power and Black economics to what was once a white KKK stronghold. It's a lot of people that have ran. If you look in some of the media, you'll see one after the next, the mammies and the Confederates have gotten on. It's a new time.
Sure.
Thank you, sister, for a beautiful, beautiful presentation. I love it. I love your energy as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your patience. And thank you so much. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And I'm open to suggestions and ideas. So I just want to say thank you all. And thank you, Brother John. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Maymuna. Before you go, I did want to jump over to one thing that we had talked about earlier, and that was the event going on at Stone Mountain next week.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to look at it, and is this something that we should be supporting? And how?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So we should support, but I know you said some things in the past about, you know, being careful about parking, because we can inadvertently be, you know, funding the Confederacy. So is there any tips you can give us as to how we can attend this event specifically and you know, limit our support for Confederacy?
Absolutely. From what I read, I couldn't tell, because see, sometimes when people march on Stone Mountain, or they say that they're marching at Stone Mountain, it's usually two things that are either happening. It's either marching from Main Street through the town. That's one way that people sometimes march. And then sometimes it's just they're marching from downtown, because everybody understands they don't need to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to pay for parking, because that's, you know, going to give them more funds. So people usually start at they call Main Street Gazebo. That's their town center. And then people are parking there, and then they're walking as a group into the Stone Mountain Park.
Okay.
And I think in those cases, usually it's very advertised that, you know, we're not going to park in there. Don't try to meet us in there unless you didn't pay. You know, you can walk in on foot. So that's what I want to tell everybody too. You can go to Stone Mountain and walk up the mountain and all around the mountain for free. You have to walk in from the downtown village area. And, you know, at this point, I just don't want Black folks, unless you're protesting, I really just don't want Black folks there. Because when they see our Black skin, our Black faces, to them, it's okay. It's justification. For a long time, I told myself, if I don't go see the Confederate stuff, ain't nothing wrong. I'm not going there celebrating Confederacy. Ain't nothing wrong. I'm here for nature. We can no longer just be there for nature. It's hurting my heart because I love that part. Me and my dog and all the trails, everything about it. It is the most beautiful place. It's a great place to exercise and just be. But I had to let it go. I can't even, you know, unless I'm protesting, I'm not going. And I'm not paying no matter what I do, you know. So I would say that Brother Griggs is definitely a comrade of mine. And anything he's doing is definitely going to have great impact. So I definitely support it. I did look at my calendar on that day. I already have something going on. It happens at 1 o'clock and I got to be there at 3. So I don't think I'll be able to make it. But I definitely think that this is something to support. A lot of people are sending energy towards Stone Mountain Village and Stone Mountain. And I see that he's doing is sending that energy that way. So yeah, so totally support it.
Okay. Thank you, my sister. Feel free to stay on if you'd like. But yeah, I do really appreciate you giving your time and energy to this collective to enlighten us as to the history of Stone Mountain, and, you know, make sure that as we, you know, go into the future, we do things the right way, and we're making sure we're not supporting the Confederacy. So thank you, Sister Maymuna.
All right, thank you. I'm going to drop off because my little girl, I got to go get to her. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again.
All right. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was our topic for this evening. I think we kind of got through. Was there any closing comments on Sister Maymuna's presentation before I begin my presentation? Okay. All right. First thing I wanted to say is to promote our social media. I got a love-hate relationship with social media. It's a great way for individuals to get their information out and, you know, get resources, have an online marketplace, things like that. However, I don't like them because there's no way to promote what you're doing without promoting their platform. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything we build on those platforms, it's good for us and it makes us, makes us better. But at the same time, it makes YouTube better. It makes Facebook better. It makes Instagram better. So, like I said, I just got a love-hate relationship with it. I understand this is where we are and this is where our people are, but I just wanted to be clear about my position. I wish we had our own, basically. But in the meantime, please support UNIA Division 421 on social media. Moorish World TV, this is on social media. I don't want to say which one specifically, but just look it up. And the reason why I'm promoting this one, the sister that just came off, Sister Maymuna, I first saw her on Moorish World TV from Brother Taharka Bey, and that brother's out of Baltimore. So Baltimore platform was highlighting Stone Mountain, and that's where I was able to learn about her. Later on, in which I got to put another one up here because there's Rebels Roundtable or Rebel Vision Television. I think that's another one. So after I saw her on Taharka Bey, Rebel Vision Television out of Atlanta had them on her show, and that's a second time I was able to meet her, and then followed up for our presentation. So support that brother. He's doing a lot of good work for melanated people. He's a Moor, so they got a little bit of different definitions and things like that. But as Garveyites, we are the universal global government for all melanated people that descend from the continent of Africa. So they are still part of our family. Next is Gerald Griggs. So as the sister said, Gerald Griggs, NAACP, I believe he's the president, at least in Atlanta, NAACP. We should have a relationship with him. I've done work with him in the past, but follow him on social media as well. He does a lot of good activist work. Jamarian Robinson shot 76 bullet holes. He's working with their family. Oscar Kane, Ahmaud Arbery, Rayshard Brooks, a lot of the police injustices, Brother Gerald Griggs is pushing, justice for those families. So definitely support him. As we just spoke to, Stone Mountain Action Black Alliance. So Sister Maymuna Freeman, email smaballiance@gmail.com. So look for her on social media, like, share, subscribe her content. And then, as I just said, Rebel Vision Television. Look them up on YouTube. A young elder perspective. They're not super, we're not super young. We're not in 20s and 30s, more like 40s and early 50s perspective on the movement, what's going on with the relationship with the youth and the elders, but just a different perspective of Black liberation from a hip hop kind of mindset. So that's the first thing I want to do was touch on social media and encourage all of our people to promote and support our own social media. Next question or next slide is, I want to touch on the levels of the UNIA. We've got a lot of people that linger, so to speak, and they get kind of stuck in certain levels of activism. And we need, if we really want to be serious about this, everybody should be trying to get to the finish line, so to speak, or maximizing their potential. So when it comes to active and non-active, so that's the first thing, is our membership. 99% of our membership is non-active. So Garvey created the organization such that based on our race, everyone is a member of the UNIA, whether they're active or inactive. So 99% of our population or our membership are members only by race, but not based on active conscious input. Second level is active. And for me, I split this up into two. The Constitution says in order to be active, you must be dues paying. Now, that's the only way. So that's the primary way. But I also have to acknowledge those that do the work. So those that volunteer. So for me, I consider these two fairly equal, two situations to be equal. If somebody's an active member, so they're dues paying, but they don't support, they don't volunteer, is equivalent to someone that volunteers and does the work in the community, but they don't pay dues. So, you know, I don't personally think that one is any better than the other, but we should all be striving to be active dues paying members in the only Black government that we have in this world. And our active dues requirement is $3. It's only $3 a month. So $46 a year. You know, so, you know, $3 right now, I think that's about the average cost of a gallon of gas or less nationwide. So it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a big sacrifice, but this should be, you know, the extra funds that we have to contribute to self-reliance and self-governance. So for those that can and are willing, you can pay your dues, paypal.me, UNIA421, or you can pay via Cashapp, $UNIA421 fund. Okay, so that's the two levels of activity. And then you got 5 levels of involvement, I guess. So the first level is where we are right now, a mass meeting. This is our you know, these are going to be our biggest meetings, have the most people, but we don't go very deep on any particular topic. These meetings are think tanks, brainstorming sessions, as well as an update on current events and what's going on in the community. But when it comes to how we should respond, what we should be doing, those are things we touch on mass meetings, but that would happen at the second level. So everybody, you know, on this call right now is on level 1. We attend the mass meetings. Second level is executive meetings. So a smaller group of the mass meeting is the executive meeting. This is where we discuss priority topics, planning for the month, planning for the year, and officers training. So think of it as, you know, classes to graduation. You know, first grade is mass meetings, and everybody's here, everybody has passed. Second grade is executive meetings, and I understand this is not possible for everybody, but these are things that we should be aspiring to and things that we should be thinking about. And even if we can't do it here, we should be doing it wherever we are locally. But we should not be stuck on a level of just participating in mass meetings, not if we are serious about being political contributors in our communities. So executive meeting, like I said, that's where we come together as an executive body and prioritize what we should be doing in the community as a division. And then the third level is committee meetings. So out of executive meetings, we will form committees. Right now, we just formed our business committee, and our first vice president, Brother Macias, is leading that committee. But during executive meetings, you may decide that, you know, we want to have business meetings in the month of November. So in the executive meeting, you know, hey, who wants to, you know, we need a committee for the business meetings, and we form that, and then that committee begins to meet. And that's where we focus on the execution of plans or events. I think the last committee that we had was for Garvey Day, but you know, first grade, second grade, third grade is getting involved in committees. And then the fourth level is national meetings. So this is where we meet with other representatives throughout the nation, other presidents and other secretaries. So we do this once a month. And, you know, if we're serious about Garveyism, understanding Garveyism and practicing Garveyism, we should be communicating with the leaders of other areas. Garveyism is about local politics, but it's also about national and international politics. So if we're not communicating with our brothers and sisters throughout the nation, throughout the world, we are a local organization, and we got to understand that and accept that. And that's not my intention for the UNIA. Division 421 is local, but the UNIA division is global. So I have to be prepared and in the expectations of communicating with other regions. And then the fifth level is annual meetings. So High Executive Council and Convention are the two annual meetings. These are our biggest meetings in the UNIA. Here we discuss, the Constitution, make amendments to the Constitution. We elect officers for High Executive Council, and officers are appointed to the cabinet of the President General. And this is where delegates come together. So delegates from the different regions come together for what would be considered a parliament. And we, discuss policy issues, constitutional issues. But when it comes to the overall structure of, or the overall governing body and governing rules of this international organization, that's where that happens, is at these meetings. So this is, one of our highest aspirations that we should all have as Garveyites, as representatives of Division 421. We should seek to be representatives on a national meeting, attend meetings on a national scale, but be representatives of our local area. So at HEC, when Chicago, if we go to Philadelphia, you got Chicago there, you got Philly there, you got Washington, D.C. there, you got New York there, you have LA there. Who is there speaking for Atlanta? If I don't show up, who's there speaking for Atlanta? And if we don't take ownership and responsibility, then I would say we can't criticize, because we're not making the sacrifice of ourselves to be self-reliant and self-governing, and to make sure that our voices are heard in these meetings. So I just wanted to go through that really quick, and just to re-emphasize, for when it comes to politics and Garveyism, we should not be 10 years in and the only participation that we've had is mass meetings. That's unacceptable on a mature political level. We should be progressing up to the status of delegates in international meetings. With that, I wanted to show our UNIA body as of right now. Let's see. Share. Okay. So we are in a very, very good space, good time. We are surrounded by resources and capable individuals. And right now in 2022, I feel like Division 421, I don't know the past, but I don't know all the past, but I feel right now today we are more capable than we have ever been. And there's a few reasons as to why I say that, but we still have the support and participation of our first President Ross Marvin. Myself, obviously I got to toot my own horn, beep, beep. You have me, we have the best First Lady Vice President, Sister Tania, best Treasurer, President Ross Marvin. We have a counsel general, best counsel general that I've ever seen. I don't even know if other divisions have not counsel general, but hold on. Okay. I gotta mute these lines. Yeah. So we got the best, not counsel general, but legal defense committee coordinator. But when I look at our team, when I look at what we have, I just, I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, we are in a very special place when it comes to resources and potential of the organization and what we actually can do. So, governing body of the UNIA, President General, as of right now, 2022, our current President General, the Honorable Michael R. Duncan. He's been President General ever since 2016, 10th successor to Honorable Marcus Garvey and 11th President General. First Assistant President General, High Chancellor Raymond Duguay. Our Secretary General, Sister Brenda Amoakan. And again, we should know these people. We should know these names, even if we don't know their faces. And we should, if we're serious, we should know their voices. We have conversations with these people once a month, and I don't mean these people in a bad way, but this is our family. So, we have working discussions with them once a month, even if we don't know what they look like, we should know what they sound like. Second Assistant President General, Brother Ogu, okay, I ain't gonna even mess up his name. Third Assistant President General, Brother Charles. Fourth Assistant President General, Brother Quahir. Our Minister of Industry and Labor, I think it's supposed to be Labor and Industry, but Brother Clyde Banks, President 429 out of Chicago. We have a Surgeon General, Dr. James McIntosh, High Commissioner General. So the head of all commissioners is Brother Marua Farrell, President Division 401 of Chicago. And this was the big surprise. The Commissioner of District 2, which is Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, is our first Vice President of Division 421, Brother Omasius. He's the last, okay. Minister of Information, Brother Everett Winchester, Baltimore President, Division 106, and also a seed of the CDPM and Division 421. So when we look at the structure, with Brother Omasius being a part of being a district commissioner, that empowers us. And also, just a heads up, I'm probably going to be called to be district commissioner for District 5. So we'll have a former president, we have legal defense committee coordinator, and we're about to have 2 district commissioners. So, I don't know of any other time or any other division other than the New York division that has all of the high executives. I don't know any other division that has had that much in one place other than Chicago. But Chicago is Division 401 and 429. So we're doing good. I'm proud of us, but I also am aware of the space that we're in right now in 2022, going into 2023, and we have to realize this potential. So again, District 2, Brother Omasius is in charge of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. So he's the head of the way I understand it, the commissioner is above the presidents. So he would, any presidents of these divisions would report to him. And then District 5 includes South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And I am suspecting that I will be asked to be commissioner of that region. President Ross Marvin was the previous commissioner of District 5, and currently that position is open. So just highlighting the potential, the things that we have done, the things that we are doing, yeah, it's very little excuses. We're not going to say no excuses, but little excuses for us not to be successful. All right, next slide. I want to touch on something that we got working on locally, 421. So from the 11 aims and objectives of the UNIA. Right now, we're focusing on number 9, or we got a program to focus on number 9. Number 9 states to establish universities, colleges, academies, and schools for the racial education and culture of the people. So when it comes down to the foundation of the UNIA, you can find that in the 11 aims and objectives. We're going through officers training right now. We just went over the aims and objectives. That's lesson 3. We did that on Tuesday. But just highlighting this for a second, it'll make sense later on. Garvey expanded upon objective number 9 in Message to the People, Course of African Philosophy. He says that this means that we are not to become satisfied with the educational system of the white man, which has been devised by him for his own purpose, to lead others to obedience to his system. The Negro must have an educational system of his own based upon the history and tradition of his race. Therefore, text must, hold on one second. Therefore, textbooks must be different than the white man's textbooks. The white man's books laud him and outrage the Negro. In such textbooks, the Negro should substitute all that is bad affecting him for what is good relating to him. Therefore, the Negro should not be satisfied with a college or university education from white schools. He should add to his schooling by going to his own schools and university where possible, or read such textbooks that have been adopted by his schools and colleges. These books should glorify the Negro just as the white man's system glorifies the white man. Again, this is from Message to the People, Course on African Philosophy, pages 31 and 32. And this is, did I spell it wrong? Institute. Hold on. So, as I said, right now we're focusing on UNIA officer training and the institution building the educational institution of the UNIA. And again, from the Course of African Philosophy, some quotes that we pulled out, or some excerpts that I pulled out about the text. Garvey says, let me see, I think this is from Dr. Tony Martin. He says, this course, the Course of African Philosophy, is a unique document. With the exception of his poetical works, it is the closest thing to a book that Marcus Garvey ever wrote. So Marcus Garvey is only authored 2 texts. One is his poetical works, and the second is Message to the People, Course of African Philosophy. The editor says, quote, "This was nothing less than a distillation of a lifetime of organizational experience." Charles L. James, who was the 5th President General, says, "This course represents, as it were, the last political will and testament of a man who stands without equal in the history of the worldwide mobilization of African peoples." And he was speaking about Marcus Garvey. Dr. Tony Martin also adds, "The immediate purpose of the Course of African Philosophy was to train a cadre of UNIA leaders who would carry on the great work of the organization after Garvey's death." And the last 2 quotes from Garvey that he gave at a Detroit convention speech in 1937 regarding the lessons and the education. Garvey says, quote, "I have given them all I know." And he says, quote, "I am trying to make everyone a Marcus Garvey personified." So as I said, Michael R. Duncan, he's served since 2016 to the present. He's the 11th President General, 10th successor to the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Charles L. James was the 5th President General of the UNIA-ACL. He served from the years 1978 to 1989, and the Course of African Philosophy was published in 1985. So he's given credit as the President General at the time when this text was released. So that's why I was touching on this. On Tuesday, we will be continuing our officers training for executives here at Division 421, as well as we've opened this up nationally. So there are other Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, they all call in and participate. And those that complete the course will receive a certification at HEC in April. So I was saying all that to say that. And a look at next month. So every Tuesday, we will be at the Omanala Griot from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're still working on the schedule and the layout for how we run a show. Basically, I think that's what Brother Macy said. We're still working on that, but we handle that during the business meeting on Thursday. But we would be inviting, and I got to get with Brother Dreadlocks, Brother Bob James. He's supposed to be making a flyer for it, so I need to get that and start sharing that. But those that are in Atlanta, we will be at the Omanala Griot every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I will be doing our officers training from that site at the same time, so 8 p.m. to 9:30. First Friday in November, we have a Legion meeting. So African Legion meets first Friday of every month. So brothers that are interested in defending, being a defense force for our race, please reach out to me or Baba James as soon as possible, and we can make sure you're aware of what's going on the Legion call. Saturdays, every Saturday we have orientation. So parent body is offering orientation. I forgot to send out the information yesterday, but yeah, they sent it late and I didn't get to send it out to everybody, but the links are the same. So if you've ever, this is only going to the executives. If you've gotten it before, the same link will work. And then President's call actually is going to be on the 2nd. And then the secretary's call is on the 9th. So when I was talking about the national meetings, that's the president's call and the secretary's call. We actually do need support and individuals to step up and help in the secretary department. But that's how we look for the month of November. Not too much. It's going to be kind of light other than the Tuesdays. And then in December, the biggest thing we got planned is Kuji Chagalia for Kwanzaa on the 29th, but that's over a month out. So I'll talk about that in December, but this is our schedule and plans for this month with a focus on Omanala Griot and officers training. So any questions, comments on the division focus for the month of November?
Yes, President John. If you can remind the members also to update their Black government ID, make sure it's current at all times when they pay their dues.
Yes. Thank you for that reminder. I thought I had a slide. I was supposed to have a slide for that. I must have slipped and didn't add it on. Okay. Yeah, I will do that, President Ross, and thank you for that reminder. Yeah, please pay your dues, and for those that would like to get their Black government ID, only for active members, but please reach out to myself and we can make sure you get your Black government ID. We just sent out about 4 or 5 that were on back order, so we're ready for a new batch of requests. So, thank you, President Ross. Marvin, Cashapp for dues. Cashapp, $, 21, Anybody else questions, comments on the division focus for November? Officers training.
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams.
Yes, how much is the combined total for dues pertaining to both organization and government with us? The combined total.
The total of dues is 46. Well, yeah, it's $46 per year. and there's an additional $10 for the joining fee for your first year. So your first year is $56, and the remaining years is $46. Yeah. So it's $3 a month. That comes out to be $36, and then there's a $10 annual assessment that we must do. So $46 is yearly dues. Anything beyond that would go towards our charitable fund. But feel free to donate if you have more than what is required. Don't hesitate. But yes, $46 for anyone that's already paid joining fee. And if you're on this call, everyone on this call should have already paid joining fee by now. So it's $46 a year.
Raise first.
Raise first.
For the government, how much for the organization?
What do you mean organization? Organization, government, same
Yeah.
thing. UNIA.
Hmm?
The UNIA is an organization that formed a government. So it's one and the same.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was paying more than that before. I'm a paying dues member, but okay, because I was setting 100 plus.
Okay, you may be talking about Collective Black People Movement.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay, Collective Black People Movement is separate from the UNIA. That is $100 a month, 27 cents a day is the dues for CBPM.
$100 a month or a year?
I'm sorry, $100 a year. I'm sorry.
$100 a year, right? Okay, race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Shams, for that question. Any other questions, comments on the topics before we move to member share? Wait, let me make sure I got the lines unmuted.
I guess President John, I have a question.
Yes.
When I can't remember, but how do I find out what years I owe dues for? Because I know I owe it for this year, and because I have so much COVID, just it's so much going on that I kind of forgot. But when I renew, can you update us on how do you renew? I know you just posted where you paid the Cashapp,
Yes.
but how do we go about updating the actual card? Because I changed my legal name, so I have to update that on the card itself. So what's the process with that?
Okay. All right. So the way I would prefer to do this, all right, we can, we can get together and discuss anything in the past that you want to get caught up.
Okay.
But if you wanted a ID now, what I would say, pay a year dues and then the cost of the ID. So that comes out to be $46 plus. If this is your first ID, oh no, you get a renewed ID. I think we do $10 for the renewed ID. So $46 for the year of dues and then $10 for updated ID.
Okay, 56. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Brother Derek.
All right.
And Brother Derek, you have contact information. You have my contact information to send me. Or you can, send it to me. I'll send it to President Ross. But send me updated name and address. Your birthday's not changing, so just updated name and address.
Okay. All right. Send me, if you can inbox me on this on the Zoom here, your contact information. You want me to phone number or email? Send me that, and that way I can get that over to you.
All right, 1 second. I will put that in here now. While we're doing that, any other questions, comments? Okay. With that, we can move into member share. Excuse me. And as always, brothers, we must be good listeners. So we allow our sisters to go first. Let me check. All right. Conference or Zoom, male dominant over there. Let's see about the conference line, we do have a sister here. Greetings, Sister Mary. Well, let me oh man, yeah, go ahead. Greetings, Sister Mary. How you doing? I was just concerned because my battery's low, but I think I've got enough to get through Sister Mary, and then I'll charge it up. Sister Mary, you there? Greetings, Sister Mary.
Yeah, I'm here. Greetings. I'm helping my mom. Can you come back to me, please?
Yes. Okay, we'll do that.
Thank
Um, thank you, Sister Mary. Let me jump back over to the Zoom. I'm gonna try to do this from an elder standpoint. President Ross Marvin, UNIA member number 2. Greetings, President Ross Marvin. You're on mute if you're there.
Okay, I'm good right now. I enjoyed the presentation tonight from the sister, but everything else is good.
Okay. Thank you, President Ross. Thank you for joining and being here supporting. Next, I'll go to UNA member 172, Dr. Shams in New York. Greetings, Dr. Shams.
Yes, I just wanted to mention a little bit about my website. I updated it tremendously. It has more options, more helpful activities for our cause, and I ask that anybody and everybody interested in moving our cause forward, visit my website. And the website is Not Helpful USA Legislations People.bravesites.com. That's Not Helpful USA Legislations People.bravesites.com. Also, Brave Sites is another good it can be free or it can be paid for, but it's good to help our organization develop a new website, for access or for members or whatever. But one last time for the website, Not Helpful USA Legislations People.bravesites.com. I also left it in the chat. Peace and raise first.
Thank you, Dr. Shams. Not Helpful USA Legislations People.bravesites.com. All right. Next, I want to bring in our division colonel, UNA. I don't know yet. I don't got your number up here right now, Baba James. But Colonel Baba James for Division 421. Greetings, Baba James. I'm gonna pull up your number while I'm doing this. Baba James, you there? Member number 149. All right, we will come back to Baba James. Let me go over to UNA member 449, Brother Art in Annandale, Virginia. Greetings, Brother Art.
Race first, family. Greetings.
Baba James, go ahead. Race first.
I just wanted to thank everybody for being on the call today. Race first. I don't have too much to add. President John gave most of the information available in regards to what we're trying to accomplish for the Tuesday is at the Manila.
Yes.
Again, any members online who want access to the God Rights Worldwide website can give me a text at area code 404-254-9418. Race first.
Race first. Baba James, one more time.
404-254-9418.
All right. Thank you, Baba James.
Race first.
Race first. Okay, wait. Don't do that. Next, brother, I want to bring in UNIA member 115, I believe, Brother Derek. Oh, wait. No, Brother Derek, hold tight. Sister Ifani, I am so sorry. Greetings, Sister Ifani. My apologies for skipping you.
That's okay. I didn't have anything to say. I enjoyed the presentation. I will call you later in the week.
Okay, you got my
Thank you.
information. Thank you, Sister Ifani. Let me jump back to Brother Derek. Greetings, Brother Derek. Well, and Brother Derek, you got to let me know your African.
Greetings.
You're a little choppy, Brother Derek.
Okay, Kwame Asante.
Kwame Asante. Okay. Gotcha. Greetings, Brother Kwame.
Okay, I was just gonna let you guys know, everyone on the call, that I'll be headed over to a pilgrimage on the continent for the 5th time next month, and I'll be going to Sierra Leone and receiving citizenship. The reason I'm receiving citizenship is because I did a DNA test through African Ancestry, which has been around for around 18 years, and they're definitely a Pan-African mindset. And I got those results back in July, and so I immediately paid for the trip because they actually do financing for the tours they do. They do several different countries, but right now Sierra Leone is a focal point because they're offering citizenship to anyone that can trace their DNA back through their company, getting those results. So that's I guess I want to say is that's a Pan-African step in the right direction to be able to go and be part of, through the political, the legal aspect of things, be part of Mother Africa's redemption by being an actual citizen on the continent of a nation. So I'll be attending that ceremony next month, and I'll be there on the ground for 2 weeks to receive that. And that'll be again a major step for us Pan-Africanists on the ground on the continent of Africa, because we all know in the second paragraph on the allegiance to the red, black, and green, it states we dedicate our lives to the redemption of Mother Africa. Yes, so right now I'm following the right direction and following suit and following the path of what I've been set on, the task in hand that was given by the ancestors to do that, and that I'm going to take that and make that a priority. And I will get that next month, and hopefully you guys will listen and maybe follow suit as well, because again, that's the right major step in the right direction for us to claim that inheritance of Mother Africa.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Kwame. We are looking forward to your return and the updates as to the process. Let me see.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Brother Art, did I call on you already?
No, hey, John, President John.
Greetings, Brother Art, member number 449.
I have nothing to share at this time, but it's a great meeting. I'm learning, and thank you.
Thank you, Brother Art. We appreciate you being here supporting. I think that is that everybody on the Zoom? I think I left one individual on the conference line, but everyone on the Zoom had a chance to share? All right. With that, we will bring in our last member for membership, CBPM member 2714 out of East Cleveland, Ohio, Brother Omar Mukhtar.
Peace to the family.
Peace, Brother Omar.
It's always a pleasure to talk to family. As I always say, prepare for peace in the time of war, prepare for war in the time of peace. Truly, we continue on with our war report. So first things on the war report is that we have our brother GMJ, Grandmaster J. You can check his information at justiceforgmj.com. As we know, he got a sentences coming up November 9th. And we have to understand that anytime any person in the Black movement step up for our people, we have to try to be respectful of the sacrifices that we all make. So we will continue to follow our brother and try to give support. And we have also started a Free All Political Prisoners campaign, because he is not the only brother has been targeted by COINTELPRO. We don't forget how to use that word, COINTELPRO. Okay, so the thing is that he got a sentencing coming up November 9th, so we're paying attention to that. We have already made preparation to call for acquittal and also a new trial because he had an all-white jury. So sometimes we have to keep up with what's going on with our people. And that's one thing that I always try to do is keep up with all the brothers that's going on, all the brothers that putting in work, all the brothers that putting up the risk of being on the front line.
Yes,
we also have Oprah Wallace, aka Ozone, who was also being incarcerated for allegedly accusing of shooting a police officer down in Florida. And we may follow that too. And we can go to auto.org to send donations and different things like that. Go to the GoFundMe accounts and things of that sort. Also, we have to be aware of what's going on with the new Black Panther Party. Our brother Malik Zulu Shabazz, you know, sometimes the enemy never stopped COINTELPRO. Sometimes you can't even get your own personal FBI files. So COINTELPRO is definitely active and operating, but we continue to move, they continue to move, and the brother will be opening up an all gear, a new Black Panther gear store. So not just gear for members of the Panther Party, but any brothers who in the Black movement that need boots and BDUs and uniforms and caps and things of that sort. And also, let's not forget the implementation of the new Black Panther newspaper. So that's another thing going on with our brother. And as soon as we also watch our brother, we got to be aware of criminal Joe Biden. Criminal Joe Biden. Executive Order 14067. While he attacks the Black nation, he's right now plotting to change the currency. If we're not aware, they're going to change the currency. The dollar has fallen almost less than 65 cents on the dollar. Some of the nations are not taking the currency. They cannot purchase oil from certain countries in American currency. And see, all of this is to distract us for the what things that are really going on. So when you check into Executive Order 14067, they will also maneuver to turn into a cryptocurrency where they will have full access and control to all your accounts. Let me repeat that. All of your accounts. Turn it on, turn it off. Executive Order 14067. Also, we want to continue with our people in East Cleveland, doing the work in East Cleveland. As you know, we have so far reached a total of 9 indictments on law enforcement officers. The people in East Cleveland, the residents have a zero tolerance for corruption. So not only do we have 9 police officers indicted, charged, we also recalling the mayor once again. This is our second recall. If they betray us, we come for you. So he will be recalled November 8th, along with our Ward 3 council person. They have failed in their duty to support and lead and represent the masses of the people. So we will come for you if you're in East Cleveland. Now, the other cities and states, that's a different story, but we will come for you. Also, we want to be reminded that any of our people can get the Freedom of Information Act. Any of our people can go and pull all their police files. When we went after the police department, we pulled up 13 police files. 13. Out of the 13, we have indicted 9, including chief of police. Power to the people. Power to the people. So the people have to get up off the bench and continue to fight to make this thing right. Also, we never forget that our women, the Black woman, is continuing to be missing, continue to be attacked, continue to be kidnapped. Sister kidnapped in Kansas City, where they lied and said that nobody was missing, and come to find out that this person also had 2 other sisters who was missing along with her. So we have to remember the system don't work for us. We have to create our system for ourselves and work for our people. So as I always say, prepare for peace in a time of war, prepare for war in a time of peace. Peace to the family. We are at war.
First, thank you, Brother Omar Mukhtar, East Cleveland, Ohio. Was there anyone on the call that did not get a chance to share that would like to share?
Yes, greetings. This is Mary, Sister Mary.
Greetings, Sister Mary. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. Hope everyone else is well. Yes, I wanted to share that, I alluded to Brother Omar. I'm one of the women amongst women, a woman amongst women that's under attack, and the open enemy does not discriminate based on age, because so is my 101-year-old mother under attack. It's bringing you up to date with our situation in court. There was a continuance for basically the scheme of distribution, which is expenses, charges that my mother incurred, and damages to our property from these people that had encroached on our family estate. And that continuance has been set for December. And ironically, the same judge that's been presiding over this case for the past 5 years, has brought forth appeals that were filed a year ago for a broad and protective order on other actions by this this criminal that keeps harassing and that encroached on our family land. So I'm just really, perplexed that, the judge will wait a year or over a year for another one of them that I had filed an appeal on, because they denied me and my mom a broad protective order that was, that showed that there was a situation of harassment. So that's on the same day as the judge will hear my mother's scheme of distribution for being reimbursed for damages, expenses, and rent that these people owe her. Also, the most recent time that my mom and I went to court on requesting a broad and protective order for after these people moved off of our land and came back and threatened me, the police officer perjured himself on the stand and said that I never mentioned to him that I was in fear of my life or threatened. And the judge based his testimony on the fact that I was not credible, because why would I not tell a police officer that I'm in threat or in fear, which is contrary to the body cam. But fast forward, I filed a formal complaint with the internal affairs of the Suffolk Police Department. 2 complaints. One, because the criminal keeps coming back even though they've left, but it appears that, because my mom and I keep being denied this broad protective order, it's kind of like giving him the green light to come back in the dark of, night and ring our doorbell. So when one complaint I filed, the police officer came and wanted to flash his light in my face where I could not see at my front door to speak with him. So, and I asked for his supervisor, which he refused to call. He reluctant to give me his name. Investigation did come back from the chief of police for the Suffolk Police Department, a result of this investigation, that the complaint has been classified as a sustained, and the allegation is supported by evidence. But, the employee received disciplinary actions as a result of the investigation. The other complaint that I filed with the Suffolk Police Department was the threat by the criminal that encroached on our family estate, and that was not the criminal, but the police officer that perjured himself on the witness stand, and I filed a complaint with the internal affairs. The response came back from the investigation from internal affairs, saying that the 2 members of the Suffolk Police Department, for failure to provide service, deception, and failure to appear in court, the completed internal investigation for the failure to provide service and failure to appear in court was sustained. The allegation is supported by evidence. the complaint regarding the deception, and I never use the word deception, I use the word perjury. But they responded back with regarding deception has been classified as not sustained, and insufficient evidence exists to prove or disapprove the allegation. So they're trying to protect this police officer because, of course, if you perjurize yourself, that's criminal, that's a felony. And but they regret the inconvenience or hardship that the incident caused me, and that the employee, now they said 2 employees of the Suffolk Police Department, but they responded where the employee, singular, received disciplinary actions as a result of this investigation. So I will be following up with internal affairs regarding how they came up with this the results of this investigation, particularly as it relates to deception, because I understand that one word can change a whole, way of you, whether you're guilty or innocent. And as far as deception, I mean, I'm no lawyer, but deception and perjury, I don't believe they're the same in definition. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And also, we're in an election coming November the 8th, and I'm campaigning for a young lady, Karima Lockwood, for local school board. And there is a concerted effort among Republicans and this PAC, this Political Action Committee called the 1776 Project, that has raised millions of dollars to fund local campaigns, and particularly school board, because they want to abolish the 1619 Project and also critical race theory. So they don't want our future generations to be on the same playing field as their white students when it comes to history. They want to continue to teach us, our children, a lie about American history and deny our youth the legacy of slavery and the contributions that Black people have made to America. And so they have funding heavily the campaign for people to run, to maintain control of education and its curriculum. So I employ, and it's not just in Virginia, they have won in various states such as Texas, Colorado, and this is universal. They ain't playing. So, I don't know what we can do collectively as an organization to really get out the word that it is so important to vote in local elections as it is in federal. But, local is serious. And like I said, they're trying to change the curriculum of education, and they're wanting to put charter schools in place. And charter schools is a lottery. But the charter schools that they want to fund, see, that's why they want to maintain control over the money for education. They want to advocate for charter schools so that poor white kids that are in school now, because they did a statistic that Black students and Hispanics predominate public schools all over. So they want to, as far as advocate for funding charter schools, so our poor white kids that can't afford to go to these private schools can get a better quality education that they feel that they're not getting in public schools, in these charter schools. And who's not going to be able to go? Our children. So with that said, race first.
Race first. Thank you, Sister Mary. Is there any information you'd like to give out? Not a personal number, but any information as to how people can reach out and support what you got going on? The young lady that's running for school board is Karima Lockwood for Suffolk Public Schools. I have sent communication to here.
to just a second here. The Public Center, because they, there was the support of the 1619 project, which there are books that have been written that are being placed in public schools to teach our students about the 1619 project. So there is, I don't have that right in front of me right now, but you can reach out to me. My number is 757-685-1730. And they can also reach out if they want to support Karima Lockwood for Suffolk Public Schools. Would be Karima Lockwood at, one second, one second. Karima.Hopkins. No, that's not the one. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. That's their personal email. Just a second. Let me get it for you. Email is info at lockwood4schoolboard.com. And the number to reach her is 757-381-7005. So I'm coming, Mama. She ready to eat. So it's info at Lockwood, LOCKWOOD, for schoolboard.com. And, and as far as for me and my situation with my mom, if anybody want to reach me, because I still need y'all support. I need your prayers, because, I can't let my skin get, fragile. I have to remain tough for my mom and for my survival. And so my number again is 757-685-1730. Thank you. Race first.
Thank you, Sister Mary. Race first.
Thank you.
So just a couple minutes. It was something I was supposed to do during our last meeting. We met last time we met was October 2nd. And I was supposed to give Georgia residents an update or a heads up on voting. Registration for voting opened on October 11th was the last day to register to vote. So I hope we are all registered. Early voting began on October 17th, and early voting will end on, I believe it's November 4th. November 4th, early in-person voting will end. Let me see when the register vote for general election runoff. Election day is November 8th. So keep these dates in mind. Something that I would like for us to have as an organization is a political expert. We should have a political block at this point in 2022, where Black people, where we come together and work together and vote together. Right now, we are customers to the Democrat and Republican Party, and we just each year or every 4 years we flip, hey, I'm tired of how the Democrats are doing it, I'm gonna go Republican. But I just feel, by now we should come together and solidify our vote and demand, actions or programs in response for our vote. in the absence of us having a political expert that can tell us, hey, we should be voting for this person or this person, I at least wanted to let everyone know who's running for what, and what seats are open. So United States Senate has one seat open for Georgia. It'll probably be between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. Raphael Warnock is Democrat, Herschel Walker, Republican. Chase Oliver, I believe he's Libertarian. But, I'm not here to promote one or the other because I don't really know enough about any of them. But again, I'm just stressing that in 2022, we should have some type of political experts within our grassroots movement, because we always promote voting, but when you ask who to vote for and why, it's not necessarily clear. So again, just stressing, there's nothing we can do about it at this point. We just have to go in with whatever we feel is best for our people in our hearts. But from an organizational standpoint, organizational minded, I just feel, and the teachings of Malcolm X says, any group of people that has an opportunity to form a political bloc and they don't do it, they are politically ignorant, basically. And that's how I look at Black people today. We still, are pawns to these large parties, but we don't necessarily have a mindset and a platform of our own collectively to say, we're going to support this person and make sure they get in office. The governor election is up as well. Stacey Abrams for Democrats, Brian Kemp, the incumbent for Republicans, Shane Hazel, Libertarian candidate. Lieutenant Governor, Charlie Bailey, Democrat, Burt Jones, Republican, Ryan Graham, Libertarian. Secretary of State, B. Wynn, Democrat, Brad Raffensperger, Republican, and Ted Metz, Libertarian. Attorney General, Commissioner of Agriculture, Commissioner of Insurance, State School Superintendent, Commissioner of Labor, U.S. House Rep, but you see my point. All of these people are up for office, and me as president of Division 421, other than my personal investigation, we collectively have no idea of what these people stand for and what their platforms are, other than looking at what party they represent. So I'm just asking us and asking Black people, and this is a recorded conversation, so it's not even about this generation, but as we look, in the future, I'm asking Black people to come together, be proactive when it comes to elections, organize, and actually seriously discuss, who's on the ballots and who is the best of the two candidates based on their history. And also, even further out, lobbying. I don't know, where lobbying falls in the Constitution as far as legality, but it seems to be something that's done on a regular basis and something that will continue to be done. But as Garvey said, where's the Black man's kings and queens and men of high affairs? Where is the Black community's lobbying group? And who are we lobbying for? How much money do we have? How much money are we giving? So these are just questions that I have. I don't know if anybody out here has the answers, but as Garvey said, I couldn't see them, so I declared that I would make them. So I'm standing on my ambitions and what I think we need as a people, but I can't do it on my own, and I won't do it on my own. Garvey says, if we basically something to the extent of, if we don't have the common sense at this point to do for ourselves, then we should die. As a people, we should die off because we're just not getting it. And again, this is 2022. We have no political organization that is race first. We do have the Congressional Black Caucus, but they, we mad at them every 2 years as well. So I just want us to be serious, be adult, be mature, be organized, in regards to politics, and be serious about, let's not be reactive. Let's be proactive. We should be talking about these elections 6 months in advance, and not just saying go out and vote, but saying this person is best for this community for these reasons. This person is not the best for this community for these reasons. And then go out as a community and as a block and vote and make our voices heard and have an impact in these elections. So I believe I may be speaking to the choir, but those are just my thoughts. Somebody has something to say?
This is Sister Mary. I wanted to also say that that's true. But there is, just like there are different organizations that are not affiliated with the original Black Lives Matter, but there is an organization here locally that has been created, but is not affiliated with the Congressional Black Caucus or the Virginia Black Caucus. And that same organization is called the Hampton Roads Black Caucus that are not that are campaigning and funding, and it's not so much funding, but they're endorsing candidates to run for local school board to change the narrative of the curriculum or maintain the curriculum that is being taught in public school, and maintaining the control over the money for education. And this has happened to the candidate Karima Lockwood, who is a Black woman that's running. And she's running as a parent with 4 children and 1 special needs, and she sees that there's so much confusion, and that that our kids are not not the ones that look like you and I. Their best interest is not at the table. Also, lastly, I might, if I may, I don't know if it's happening in other states, but here in Virginia, they are allowing for those who have not registered to vote, that on the day of election, November the 8th, they're allowing individuals to come to the registrar's office to register to vote, and then they will go to their local precinct to cast their vote. This is on the day of election, not up to the day of election, but on the day of election. Now, although early voting has ended, which I think for us it ended on the 17th, but they're going to reopen the registrar's office on the day of election for people to come in and register who failed to register. Not absentee ballot or whatever, but failed to register. And so I don't know what the scheme of things of that going to be, because it's really why would you just allow people to come in the day before election? But the day of election, on the day, November the 8th, they're going to open up the registrar's office and have people to come in and register to vote, and then they go to their precinct and vote. With that, race first.
Race first. Thank you, Sister Mary.
Yes, sir, thanks.
Brother Omar.
Yes, sir, brother. 1 minute. Yes, sir. I did, and during the time Trump ran in office, I did started a political party called the African American Independent Party. Posted it up on Facebook, and they took it down. Every time I posted it, took it down. So they don't want us to talk about independent Black political parties. But also, I believe Dr. Boyce Watkins, they have an event coming up, the All Black National Convention, which I think this is their 7th year having this, and they will probably be talking about a political party as well. It's October the 28th through the 30th in North Carolina, Charleston, North Carolina, if I believe, October 28th to the 30th. And so this is anniversary number 7. So there is some people out there doing that. And also, the nation, when they started organizing local organizing committees so they can formulate political blocks. And that was one of the things that Dr. Claude Anderson always talked about, is organizing the political bloc from the ground up, not from the top down. So that's something that is going on. But there is additional groups out there organizing third parties, because I was approached by an individual who wanted me to sign a petition to accept additional parties besides the Democrats and Republicans, even though it's 4 parties, they just tell you it's 2, but it's actually Libertarian and the Green Party, but they never mention those. But there's also some going on. But I think now we're moving into a political era that's also, you know, to try to consolidate political power. And that's something that we have to do. And I think on, there was a t-shirt that I don't know, I think it might have been Dorothy Boys walking, where they had Black Votes Matter, and they had a black fist. So I assume it could have been the Panther Party, or it could have been the V1, Dr. Boyce Watkins group. But there is political chatter going on. And as we know now that Twitter has been taken over by Elon Musk, which is going to be another voice for the people. And just one more thing I want to mention is that for the brother Rizza Islam, he got arrested. I don't know what you brother Rizza from the Nation of Islam, he got arrested. They arrested him one time at a protest. But it goes to show you the COINTELPRO 2.0 is still active, and not just with Rizza Islam, which, you know, but they did nothing wrong. But understand how COINTELPRO is not going to let up. And matter of fact, they're going to turn it up. And then also they blocked Ramsey Yunus, the brother who was setting up under the United Nations to in Detroit. They actually would not let him back in the country to come back to Detroit. So COINTELPRO is still active. Peace to the family.
Thank you, Brother Omar. Anyone else have a comment, question?
Raise first.
Dr. Shams.
Yes, one of the features that I put on today on my website was news medias. You know, so like CNN, CBS News, NBC.com, you know, those type of things, because they cover the candidates that people vote on. But I just want to say that, you know, I don't know if any other parties can win. I mean, I'm looking at, when I vote, I'm going to vote for the party that has my interest and is likely to win for me. Now, I don't care about the other party, but I want to vote for the one that's going to win for me and have my interest somewhere at heart. And I think that might be the Democrats. Peace and race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. Yeah, I mean, I understand the Black political party in you know, for conversation's sake, the Black political party would not win a lot of elections, and that's not where I was going. My thing was a political block, and the question becomes, you know, we should be asking these type of questions. It might be out there, but is there a national organization for Black people that focuses on politics, specifically for Black people? Because I know we have local city caucuses, but do we have a national approach, you know, or is it only local?
Peace to the family.
Brother Omar?
Yeah, Brother John. There was a campaign that in 1985 when Jesse Jackson, there was the first all-Black political convention. Remember when he came out with the Rainbow Coalition, and they started to organize on the political when he was running for president. And ever since I think it was 1985, that they haven't had another convention like that, where there was all the Black people got together. You probably can find it on a black and white video somewhere, but they did have started that. But then after the election with Jesse Jackson running for president, then things kind of faded out. I think it was 1985 or 95, one of the two. But no, the first one was 85 because it was older. you know, and then they started to organize, probably getting ready for his particular campaign. But that's something that we definitely need. And then even like we say we have vote for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, I'm saying like what we did in East Cleveland, we organized from the bottom up as a political bloc. And that's how we were able to punish any mayor that come in. They know we have the ability to punish them. And we ain't it with the Democrats or the Republicans. We just a group of people say you got to go. So we have to create these things ourselves, because we got to remember we haven't built infrastructure for 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we really don't have anything. These things have to be rebuilt, and it has to be brought into existence. And that's what's going on. But yeah, we can do things on the local level because we have enormous power on the local level. Just when you get to the presidential election, and no president is really going to vote your interest, regardless of what we say, because they already have an agenda that we have never even seen. So when we can, on the local level, we can tell when the mayor's not doing what he's supposed to do, when we get a lot of police brutality, and we even going after the council people. The first time when we got rid of the mayor, we went after the mayor and the council person. And we told this mayor that we will come for him as well. That's Black power, that's political power. We don't have to deal with what they're going to do up in Washington, D.C., but we can start to make a difference in our own neighborhoods. Peace to the family.
Thank you, Brother Omar. I understand. And I know that things are being done, and we're all, doing our part within our circles. But again, I got to ask, part of our responsibility as UNIA is political. So we have, it's nothing, as the 11th aim and objective states, there's always work to be done. Leave no stone unturned. Anything that affects our people, we have a responsibility to be aware of and be involved in. So with the elections underway right now, my question is just, when have we as a group brought up the topic of candidate comparisons and who's better for the community? And that's my point. We don't talk about these things. Only time we talk about it is for a few seconds when it's time to vote, and it's very reactionary, it's controlled by white media, because if the white media puts out a bad story about one person, that's the person we don't vote for because of this recent story that came out. But I don't think that's proactive politics. I think that's reactionary politics based upon white media. So we'll be here again within 2 years to 4 years. There'll be more elections. And the question will be, are we prepared as a organization to vote as an organization, and not just, for one candidate, two candidates, but for the entire ballot? Do we know, if we have a group of 100 people, have we all discussed, these are the people that we're voting for these particular reasons? That's my only question. And I feel that I don't know if we need to be there, but I do know that we should be there by this time in the existence of the United States and the survival of the Black people here. There's no excuse for us not to do it. So it makes us look incompetent when we demand so much and when we plea for so much, but we don't take it to the level of organizing and evaluating and forming that political bloc. I just constantly feel like we are pawns to this larger system that we don't like, but we're not really doing what we really need to do to address it, So those are my thoughts. And again, in closing, within 2 years, hopefully, we can have a serious discussion on who's up for election and who's best for our communities, because this is the place where that should happen. I don't think that's not going to happen in church. It's not going to happen at work. It's not going to happen, you know, over a entertainment football game, basketball game. So we, you know, and nobody's really thinking about that but us. So if not us, then who? So I always go back to, you know, Garvey's insight and a wherewithal to be able to see what's out there in the world, see what the Black man needs, and call it upon himself to provide that. Gandhi says, he's got a good quote, be the change that you want to see in the world. You know, so if we expect things to be different, but we're not taking it upon ourselves to make them different, we really don't want it to be different. So that's all I have. Any comments in closing before we close out? Okay. But yeah, elections, get out and vote. You know, make your voices heard. Our ancestors fought. Some died for it. So I do value the vote, even though I don't think it's an end all be all. I do think it's something that we should be doing. So with that, we can close out with the motto of the organization. If you would like, please repeat after me. One God.
One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Africa.
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 For the Africans.
African.
For the African.
Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
Home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad.
Abroad.
Race first, family. Go in peace.
Race first.
Race first.
Race first.